This video will be talking about the new coronavirus tier system. Many people in the UK have had a new illness called coronavirus, where many people across the country were getting sick at the same time. The government put us all into lockdown. This meant that day centres, shops, cafes and other places had to close, and we couldn't meet with friends and family that we did not live with. We had to do things like social distancing, which is keeping 2 meters apart, wearing a mask, and washing our hands more often. This meant that the number of people that had coronavirus became much smaller. Then the rules changed so that we could meet a small number of people, and shops and cafes began to open. However, some people haven't been following the rules. This means that in some parts of the country, people have been getting unwell with coronavirus again. When a lot of people in an area become unwell with coronavirus, another lockdown might need to happen. We had to have a second lockdown in England in November. This finished on the 2nd of December. The number of people with coronavirus is still quite high, but for now, instead of having another lockdown for the whole country, we have a new system. This means that there are now 3 different levels or tiers of rules: medium, tier 1, high, tier 2, or very high, tier 3. What you will and won't be allowed to do for each tier will be different. Tier 1 is the medium level. At tier 1, you can meet up to 6 people that you do not live with, indoors or outdoors. Places like restaurants or pubs will shut at 11 p.m. Places like shops, gyms and libraries can stay open. Tier 2 is the high level. At tier 2, you can't meet up indoors with people you do not live with or who aren't part of your support bubble. However, you can meet up outdoors with up to 6 people that you do not live with. Places such as restaurants and pubs will shut at 11 p.m. If you go to these places with people that you live with, you will be allowed to sit inside. However, if you are with people that you do not live with, then you will have to sit outside, and there can only be up to 6 people. Places such as shops, gyms and libraries can stay open. Tier 3 is the very high level. At tier 3, you can't meet up with anyone who you do not live with or who isn't part of your support bubble, indoors or in some outdoor places, for example, in a garden. However, in outdoor public places like parks, you can meet up to 6 people outside that you do not live with. You will only be able to get takeaway and delivery from pubs and restaurants. Some places like supermarkets, shops and gyms will stay open. If you live in a Tier 3 area, then you should not travel out of this area. If you do not live in a Tier 3 area, then you should not travel to a Tier 3 area. Your local area can only be in one tier at one time. Every 2 weeks, the government will check and decide if your area is in the right tier. It might stay the same or it might change. It might move up to a higher tier if more people in your area get unwell with coronavirus. It might move down to a lower tier if less people in your area get unwell with coronavirus. There are still things that you can do in any tier that you are in. You can still visit the supermarket to buy food. You can still visit the pharmacy to buy medicine. And you can still do activities at home, such as arts and craft, baking or games. You can still do exercise outside, and you may be able to meet with people in a small group somewhere such as your local park. These rules are to keep all of us safe and well, and they won't last forever. The rules may be slightly different for each area. So, if you would like more information about the tier system in your local area, then speak to your carers.